Okay, so on this one, we have 3 terms. But the first step on every factoring problem is always to ask the question, is there anything in common? What do these 3 terms have in common? We go, yeah, looks like they're all divisible by 4, aren't they? To divide them all by 4, you get 1, you get 20, and you get 100. So yes, 4, but not just 4, careful. If we just do 4, we're going to miss it. Notice they all have a z. So it's 4z, and you can't take the lowest one, which is just the regular z. So yes, 4z. And so what do? You put the 4z in the front, and you put the one big parenthesis with the 3 terms inside with the pluses in between, whatever would multiply to go back. So that's the first step. So let's do that. So I'm going to put the 4z in the front, the one big parenthesis, 3 terms on the inside with pluses in between. Okay, and how do you know what's going to go there? Well, whatever works. 4z times what will go back to 4z cubed? Well, z squared, right? Because this is a visible 1 power. Making sense? 4z times z squared, the power is allowed to be 4z cubed. And then 4z times what will go back to 80z squared. We already know the number's 20 right here. So 20, and then we need z to the 1. That makes sense. 4 times 20 is 80, and z1, z2. Last spot all the way over here to make 400. We already know the number's 100, and that's it, right? Because 4z times 100 will be 400z. We already got the z. Okay, that's step 1. And then down here on step 2, this is step 1. Step 2 is we leave the 4z in the front, and we write 2 parentheses. So it's going to be 4z, and then we're going to do the 2 parenthesis thing. So we say, okay, 4z stays in the front, but I've got to write 2 parentheses. Okay. And then exactly how do I do these 2 parentheses? Well, you remember it's all about multiply, add, multiply, right? When you have 3 terms, multiply, add, multiply. So we want the, we need the front times the front to make the front. That's easy. That's z times z to make z squared. And then we need this guy, we need the last times the last to make 100. Well, that's 10 times 10 to multiply to be 100, right? Okay, but no signs yet, no pluses, no minuses. How do we find out what they are if everything's right? We got to check to make sure the middle is good. Let's check. So again, not the 4z, just leave that. We're not talking about that right now. We're just checking the parentheses. So just the parentheses, boom, boom. That'll be z squared, 10z, and then boom, boom, another 10z and 100. So remember, we've got to make the middle become right here, 20z. So these two have got to be 20z. Plus and plus. Plus and plus, huh? That makes plus 20z, which is what it's supposed to make. Perfect. And then positive 10 times positive 10 is positive 100. So check. It's working. It's going back correctly. So that means we're done. That's our answer. Let me grab it and bring it right up here. So that's it. We just proved that that's really the right answer. So it's 4z in the front, and it's z plus 10, z plus 10. Now, notice we have the same exact thing twice, right? So if you want, you could say, or you could write it 4z, z plus 10 squared. That's okay too, either way. The computer will take it either way. On the next exam, if it's multiple choice, which it is, either way is right. That this and this are saying the same thing, aren't they? Because we have z plus 10 twice or z plus 10 squared. That's the same thing. That means z plus 10 twice. You see how we got that? Let me make sure this is clear. What do we do? First step, we notice 4 goes into all of them, and they also all have a z, 4z in common. So we put the 4z in the front with the one big parenthesis. Always the one big parenthesis at first when you have something in common. And then we found out what goes in the inside because whatever multiplies. And then we took what's inside was 3 terms. So that's multiply, add, multiply. We did the 2 parentheses. Z times Z made Z squared. 10 times 10 makes 100. And then we checked it to make sure the middle was good. Came out 10Z, which is 20Z in the middle. 20Z in the middle. Check. That's right. It's all good. And so this is really, either one of these is really the correct answer. It actually multiplies correctly. There we go.